Welcome to Swadhyaya Challenge, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today we are in the third day, third chapter. Today we are going to talk about the elusive self. We all know we are all practicing to communicate with the elusive self. Let's uh, let's do a 10-15 minute meditation before we start. Please sit in meditative posture. Stay. Observing your breath. Start today. Let us get connected to our Chipitama Patriji, the author of this book. It's consciousness. Let's have this intention that whatever we are listening today, make the wisdom and learning that is needed for our spiritual growth. . we have learned today not only helped us to change our perspectives, at the same time, we are also influencing the collective consciousness of this Mother Earth. Pahi Mam Sri Rajarajeshwari Pahi Mam Sri Rajarajeshwari Pahi Mam Sri Rajarajeshwari Krupa Kari Shankari Pahi Mam Sri Rajarajeshwari Krupa Kari Shankari Pahi Mam Shri Rajarajeshwari Krupa Shankari Pahi Mam Shri Rajarajeshwari Rajarajeshwari सुखं देहि सिंहवाह्य प्रवाहिनि मोहिनि पाहि मां श्री राजराजेश्वरी। बण्ड चण्ड मुण्ड खण्ड निमहिष भञ्जनी जनरञ्जनी बण्ड चण्ड खण्ड निमहिष भञ्जनी जनरञ्जनी निरञ्जनी पंडित श्री गुहदास पोषिणी सुभाषिणी रिपु भीषणी वर भूषणी पंडित श्री गुहदास पोषिणी सुभाषिणी रिपु भीषणी वर भूषणी पामरि सा दा प मरि रि सा नि रि ग म प सा रि ग म प द प म प द प नि स प नि स रि स रि ग म रि सा सा द प म रि स रि ग म प प म रि रि सा प प प म म रि रि सा नि स रि ग म प सा रि ग म प द प म प द प नि स प नि स रि स रि ग म रि सा सा द प म रि स रि ग म प हि मां श्री राजराजेश्वरी कृपा करि शंकरि पाहि मां श्री राजराजेश्वरी राजराजेश्वरी राजराजेश्वरी। Update physical state masters. Fingers and toes. Sure. Eyes with your hands. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. For sharing your energies today. So let's start the topic. The third chapter of the Contentment Dividend. It is the elusive self. In the first two chapters, we read about embracing the unknown. So the author talks about accepting the unknowns, accepting that your reality is that you encounter unknown situations every moment, and the author asks to embrace it and accept it as it is and stop worrying about it, and also not to contemplate about it or foresee the situations and create your own reality, but let the unknown happen through the universe. In the second chapter, he talks about unsparing kindness, and in that he talks that we cannot experience or we cannot understand what any individual is suffering spiritually, mentally, physically, and psychologically unless we go through what a person is going through. So we have to have that empathy, and we should also make sure that we are showing kindness towards every being unsparingly. In the third chapter, talks about the elusive self. The elusive self is nothing but the higher self. So we all are in that journey to communicate with our higher self, right? So let's see what Buddha says about higher self. So he says that for a lot of us it is hidden. We never knew it, right? Until we started reading the unified book, until we started learning about uh, practicing the unified, we did not know about the higher self. So it remains hidden to most, and yet it possesses accessible treasures. As we all know, the higher self knows much more than what we know, right? Now the subconscious mind and the logical mind, conscious mind, the superconscious mind knows much more. Is connected to universal mind, so it understands, and it can process information which is at a much higher level than what our local mind can comprehend. So in stillness, when we are still, so when we are meditating, that is the reason why Patri sir talks about meditation. Reason why Patri sir insisted do meditation, do meditation, do meditation. This is the only reason. In stillness, the elusive self, that is the higher self, it can raise to the fore of your awareness. So that is the only reason why Patri sir says, right? It can rise to the fore of your awareness. But if you are not aware, it is so easily lost, forgotten, trampled by onrush of lazy, urgent thoughts. Okay, so when we are in rush of doing our everyday chores or everyday jobs or running behind our lifestyle, we forget. We just ignore the. I'll give you an example to this. How subtle these signals are, and we have to be so aware to listen to this. Me and my husband, we both are decorating our backyard for Diwali and for the festivals. decorating the backyard, we are lighting up the trees. So we are putting up the lights to all the big trees. We have very huge trees behind. Old, very old trees, more than 40 years old trees. Not 40, more than 100-year-old trees, sorry. So I am carrying a ladder. I carried the ladder and I put it very close to the tree, and I'm about to climb the ladder and just turn on one connection of the lights. So it's a ladder which is not on one side, which is like this, and I just carried it on my shoulders and I just put it there, and I started climbing from the left side. I started climbing from the left side. When I went into onto the second step, I got this thought from inside that why don't you climb from the other side? Okay, so this is a best example of laziness, masters, I'll tell you. So he said, right, but so easily lost, forgotten, trampled by the onrush of lazy, urgent thoughts. Okay, that is the example, onrush of lazy, urgent thoughts. So I am on the second step, and I got an intuition that I should have climbed from the other side. But I already am on the second step, so I ignored it. I am lazy to get down. Okay, my mind is lazy to get down and go back and take the other step. So I just, okay, fine. I've already climbed it, so let me just climb. And I climbed. I fixed that connection. I am climbing back, climbing down. While I'm climbing down, I did not realize that the ground surface is uneven there. I put my right leg down with all my force, and I twisted my ankle. I twisted my foot. I fell down and I sprained my ankle. It took me 1 week to recover. I'm still recovering actually. It just happened like 2-3 weeks back. Okay, something has happened. Like even that happened, and I used all that time for a positive thing, and everything worked out to be positive. But why I try to tell you is, it was just a one thought, a moment of a thought that gave me that you should have taken the climb from the other side. Imagine if you have listened to that, if I had listened to that thought and I carefully got down and took the other side. I mean, I stopped climbing up from that side and took the other side. Okay, so the only thing that stopped me is my mind itself. It told me that I already climbed 2 steps, so why going back? And I ignored it. So these subtle connections, subtle signals that our higher self gives, my dear friends, that we cannot ignore those. We cannot ignore those. So if we are on a rush of lazy, urgent thoughts, trust me, when you're taking a decision to not to follow a second signal in your head, this is what I realized, my friends. This is what I realized, that is it because your mind is lazy? Think about it. Is it because it doesn't want to repeat something, or is it because you think that it is too much to do at that point of time? Okay, is the decision because of a reason of laziness or hurry? You're doing it in a hurry, right? If it is because of these two things, that means you are not listening to your higher self. You are not following your intuition. You are using your mind. Masters, this one statement is what is the gist of the whole chapter. So when I'm reading this book, I was thinking, like, I know the concepts. We all know the concepts, right? We all know the concept of higher self. We all know everything. But what is it that I need to learn from it so I can practice? So for every I when I am sitting with that intention, I'm getting the answers. So this one statement is enough for us to catch and to practice. How do I know that I am following my higher self's actions? When I am not ignoring it, when I'm taking a decision, when I'm double minded, or when I have two different things in my head, what decision I'm taking, with what approach I'm taking a decision. Am I taking it with in a hurry or in a laziness? If I am aware of that, definitely, my dear friends, you will choose the right option. So some mistakenly believe they indulge their higher self by following the whims of the mind. A mistaken letting go to steep in sensual saturation can be the cult that some follow in the pursuit of the elusive self. But are the outer pleasures buried? So what he says is that we are in a misconception that if we are indulging in sensual saturation, so indulging um, in satisfying our outer pleasures. Okay, so some people think that when I don't say you should not do it, but I'm just giving you an example that when you need to get pampered. Okay, you go to a spa or some place, you get pampered, you continuously do that. Okay, you buy nice cosmetics for yourself, you buy nice clothes for yourself, all that is good, but that is not nurturing yourself. That is only satisfying your outer pleasures. When it means to nurturing yourself or your elusive self or your higher self is to follow the instructions, to completely be in the state of heartfulness, heart centering, and being close to the universe and going inside your inner and listening to your what your higher self is. I ask this question to all of you, my dear friends, who is listening today, including in YouTube or wherever it is. Do you know the characteristic of your higher self? Do you know the characteristic of your higher self? Like, see, if you know your brothers or your siblings, you know them, right? You know how they are, what they like, what they don't like, how do they act, how do they respond. There is a specific characteristics to your people that you know. It's the same way every higher self, your higher self has a characteristic. Do you know the characteristic of your higher self? The more that you live with your higher self, then you will know. Then you will know what is it. What does your higher self like? So for example, I'll tell you, my friend Chandra. So they say that their higher self, my friends, they like some higher self likes adventures. Okay, they want to do adventures, or some of higher selves are they are very funny when they talk. When the higher self communicates, so it's so funny. You'll have a lot of fun talking to a higher self like that. Okay, your higher self will have a characteristic. You have to know that. You have to know what it is. Then only it means like then only you are in so conjunction with your with your inner self and with your higher self. Looking outside yourself for gratification only serves to animate the restless mind, allowing the physical senses to dominate. So here a lot of the times he says that when we are satisfying our physical senses, that is the signal for that we are satisfying our mind and not the higher self and not our spirit. The mind wants more than more, exerting itself to get what it wants. The self retreats further, imprisoned by your attending to outer transiencies. Okay? Self just goes inside and inside. But we lock it because we are so much when we are when we are satisfying to the mind, the the self will get imprisoned inside. Okay, imprisoned because of the outer transiencies. So because we are looking outside, the self will succumb inside. It cannot come out and it cannot be loud. That is the reason why also, my dear friends, it is so subtle, because it does, we don't listen, don't give energy to those signals. We give so much of energy to our mind, we follow what our mind says. So it is so subtle and it's very hard to follow. The more you are nurturing your higher self, the more stronger that signal will become. Right? Rather than mistakenly letting go by following the mind succumbing to physical senses, you can learn to allow the elusive self to reveal who you can be. Okay, so what is your self? Your self is your spirit. Okay, the spirit is a higher self. So if you are a Christian, they say that the God, the spirit, and you, those are the three components, and that is true. That is what it is. So, but in our language, we say it is our higher self. The spirit is the higher self. The God is the overall consciousness, the greater consciousness, the super consciousness. While the spirit is the higher self, and the higher self is communicating to us, to our soul. This self, the self is your spirit, the beingness of your soul, and its expression of soul-like qualities in your higher mind and awareness. Okay? So that's what it is. As I said, that it is that higher mind, the superconscious mind, the expression of your qualities in the superconscious mind. So in this context, the elusive self means your higher self, which when it is predominant, you experience its 5 main qualities. So this is also takeaway, my dear friends. How do you know that your higher self is connected? Okay, you are connected with your higher self. When you are connected with your higher self, this is a check for you. When you are present, when you are always in the present moment, and when you are centered, so your heart centered, okay? You're not somewhere else. Here, your mind and body and spirit all are together connected. When you're always positive, when you're peaceful, and when you're content. So these 5 qualities are what are the checks for you to always see if you are connected with your higher self or not. Those are that you are present, right? You are centered, you are positive, you are peaceful, and you are content. These 5 points are important to remember. Okay, so you experience this self when you are being your most authentic you. The self is mastered, the self is experienced as a continuum. So this is also a new thing that I have learned. It is not like a switch on and switch off. It is experienced like a continuum. Look, for example, this is like this is for me was a learning. So if suppose I am occupied 100%, okay, in that 100%, it's like a continuum, he says. That means that today I am connected to my higher self. Today I started connecting to my higher self. I am connected like 20% of my 20% of my, I say, mind. Okay, 20% of my, so my mind processes, right? Your brain is processing signals. So 20% of those signals are processed by the connections that are coming from my higher self. The remaining 80% still is connected to the local mind and to your logical mind. So what we have to do is we need to nurture ourselves to bring that 80% to 100, like this 20% to 100% and that 80% to 0. That is the practice that we need to do. It is Not like, okay, now I heard it, now I followed it, that means it's continuously there. No. So it's experienced on a continuum. That is because until you have mastered the mind and it is truly a handmaiden of the soul, and you freely and wholly express the storehouse of virtues, the mind's waves of thoughts and impulses ruffle you and overtake you over awareness. So that is what it says. Like it's come. What we need to do is this. This paragraph reminded me that when we mind is not our enemy, okay, we need it to process the communication that we receive from the higher frequencies. Okay, we any communication we receive, we need it to process. Okay, so now what's happening is, with what consciousness it is connected, or with what state it is. When it is in a state of the local mind or a logical mind, it is giving you it's communicating, it's converting the signals with that local approach. Okay, so when I am communicating, when I'll tell you like this. For example, when I'm connected to my logical mind, okay, this is what it is. That means I am listening to only my logical mind. So my logical mind, how did it grow? It has, how does it take decisions? It takes decisions based on its memory, what it has seen since so many years of my lifetime, what it has seen, what it has experienced from the memory of emotions and experiences. It takes a decision. Okay, so it's very local. It's very dependent on our previous experiences and previous emotions. But the higher self, the decision come, that is that signals that are coming from the higher self. So if we take decision from the heart or from the higher self, it is dependent, it is based on the super conscious mind. Okay, when super conscious mind, that super conscious mind is accessing everyone in this universe. So the memory is really high, the experiences are different. So the decision coming from that mind is much more open and grand compared to the decisions that we take based on our local mind or logical mind. So, but we still need our mind, because we need it to communicate. We need that to receive the signal and communicate. So we need it to receive the signal from the higher self and follow it, basically. If I remove mind, I cannot communicate with any other higher frequencies, right? Because this is what is the gift of a human being. But what we need to do is, we need to nurture it, we need to give it practice, that give that practice to it, so it listens to the higher self's signals, and it just follows only the higher self signals. So that's why he says that you have to make it truly a handmaiden of the soul. So it has to listen to the soul. Your mind has to, we have to practice so much that it listens to the soul. And you freely and wholly express the storehouses of virtues. Storehouse of virtues, the mind's waves of thoughts and impulses ruffle you and overtake your awareness. Basically, in the logical mind will overtake your awareness. So we have to we should not let it happen, basically. And we have to make it so, put it into so much practice that our mind becomes a handmaiden of our soul. So it just listens only to the soul. I hope you understood the concept. What the paragraph is saying is that we need to make sure that our mind, so if we keep practicing what higher self is telling us, okay, we are only doing that connect. If we keep practicing, then what happens, we will only listen to the higher self, we will not listen to the logical mind. We will get used to listening to our higher self. So I did a course with a master called what's her name? Priya. Okay. She is in India. So when I did that course, she gave us this practical, what you call, tasks. Okay. So she told us to ask at least 200 questions to your higher self every day. And she used to note, ask us to write those questions down and answers also. 200 questions to your higher self. I don't remember if it is 200 or 400, so but she used to tell us to write for 10 days or like 15 days. We did that. So even for simple things, we were asking questions like, should I wear this dress? Should I eat? Okay, yeah. So higher self will only answer yes or no. It's easy to get that signals, like because when we are in practice, right, it is not possible for our mind to decode sentences and everything else. So we used to just only ask yes no questions. Yes no questions. Should I wear a dress? Should I eat? Should I drink? Should I drink coffee? Should I write this? 200 questions per day. Imagine. So, how you are training yourself to get connected to your higher self. So, that's how you should practice. So, that's how you have to become so in. That is what is unifying, my dear friends. That is what is unifying. It becomes a part of your mind, like it all becomes it. The 100% is the communication from your higher self. The mind has ineluctable striking power and staying power. That is why when you sigh and feel peace, simply being present and content, unexpected worries and anguish barrel through to disturb and hijack you from your golden good moments. So mind is so powerful, right? So it can, what it will do, it just only processes thoughts. It just processes signals. So it will continuously do that. Even if you're trying to be at peace and be in the present moment, you will still get it, because so he's just trying to say that your mind is not your enemy, but you need to train it. Otherwise, you have a very powerful tool, you need to train it. You can always return to your spiritual center, right? And you can learn what works best to return you to your stillness. So this is what we are learning, heart centering. We are learning this breathing techniques, Fibonacci series. We are doing so many things to become to bring your self to bring your state to that center. In stillness, the elusive self can rise to 4. Again, he's saying the same thing, like when you're still, your higher self is at its highest power, not power. Yeah, offering a refugee of freedom and sweet yearning. So when you are always connected to your higher self, that is when the feeling that it comes is that you are free. You're free, and that sweet yearning, you will enjoy that sweetness. So subtle in the stillness can you experience when it pulses with love. This is what we are practicing also, my dear friends. Centering and practicing God qualities, sending love, right? being in love. Can you sense all pervasive spirit and embrace your true self's yearning for union? Can you sense it? So when you center it, you will sense it, you will know it. If not, be still. So if you can't do it, just be still, you will know. In all pervasive spirit exudes a loving quiet and wants to bathe you in the beingness. That is a true letting go in which the busy mind falls away and you float in spacious spiritual sea. So every statement I read it, I remember Patriji, how subtly he has told us to just meditate, 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 nothing else. This is the only reason, my dear friends. So this whole paragraph, it says that the bliss that you experience, the love that you experience when you are in the still, when the higher self is giving you that beautiful, we call it amrutam, right? So that beautiful love, that experience of being in love and stillness, that cannot be described. I know there all authors have described, even I can't describe what it means when you experience. You only have to experience. Our human mind cannot comprehend, and the language that we have is not enough to comprehend what we experience when we are in stillness. Allow your spiritual self to be, for it pulses with love. It offers a refuge of freedom, freedom from concern, worry, fear of impending doom, right? The real, true self offers a surety that you are going on, come what you may, will be fine. So that freedom, no, don't have that worry, right? You know that universe is going to take care of you. Yeah, I am free, I'm free. That peace and contentment should be there, should come onto your face. It should reflect on your face. If it's not showing up, that means you are not meditating enough and you are not connected with your higher self. Whatever you suffer, you will come through the other end wiser, further along your experienced being. Right? So if you cultivate awareness, you can learn to align with the self, allowing repose. So the elusive self unfolds and you begin to feel and savor true contentment. Again, so it comes back that, you know, why you are not feeling contented? Because you are not learning what you wanted to learn. Your soul is not learning what you wanted to learn. Your soul is not experiencing. When it will experience, when it is only connected with your higher self. So even when you are suffering, or even you have a problem, even you are going through a situation, if you are connected to your higher self, you will still be in contentment. You will not show that the unsettledness within yourself, because you are really free from the suffering. You are not suffering, you are experiencing. The elusive self is revealed. The elusive self is revealed the more you collect your attention and withdraw from the world. Purely concentrated attention has great power. That is true, right? With it, you can be in an expansive sea of bliss, allowing higher and deeper state of contentment to lift you above the transient cares and troubles of this life. So this physical world is a great deception in which the elusive self is imprisoned. So we are locking our higher self. We are not letting it express. We are not letting ourselves experience that bliss. That spiritual sea and that bliss, because we are so busy in our everyday life. Nothing is lasting, nothing is real, yet we are meant to believe it, to chase after everything that excites our senses and mind. Right? The booby prize, another life wasted. This is the last statement, Lena. It strikes my head. Another life wasted, and with it, the chance to realize and be the elusive self, the real you, and be one of the symphonies of the soul. So why we come here? To experience as a soul, right? So if we are not, we are running behind our mind and this earthly physical matters, so we are wasting another life. End of the day, what we did, we wasted one more life. Such a wonderful, um, it's just a one page, uh, two page lesson, but every statement he says, he talks, is like, it gives me so profound inner meaning behind it, and it just strikes. You read it and it strikes. So thank you so much, friends. Thank you for listening. This is what about the elusive self. If anyone wants to share anything, please go ahead and share. Otherwise, we'll conclude. Want to express your feelings, or if you what you felt like, did you understand it, or is there any part that you did not understand, or is there anything that you want to discuss? Please go ahead. Otherwise, let's I will conclude. Let's just summarize and I'll conclude.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it was a wonderful session and it was very easy to understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much. Thank you. And your name, Ma?
My name
Ash-
is Ashwini.
Ashwini. Hi, hi.
Yes,
So I never spoke to you. Like, are you from the US?
I'm a very new member and I'm just learning.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, friends. Thank you, Monica. So yeah, before we leave, I will quickly summarize in 2 3 statements. Pushpa, you want to talk? Okay.
Go ahead, Hari. Go ahead and
Okay.
summarize. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, friends, just 3 4 points that are very striking here in this chapter. The first thing is that the signals are very subtle, and if we are lost, they will be easily lost, forgotten, trampled by our rush of lazy and urgent thoughts. It's very important for us to remember that when we are taking a decision, you have to look through it. So, while deciding, it takes a bit of a time at first, but when we are practicing it, it becomes part of your decision, so you will get it very fast. So, it just takes some time, so you have to practice it. You have to remember to check your state state of mind, what it is, and when you are taking the decision, check it. Am I taking this decision out of rush, or feeling lazy not to do the other option? Select the other option. So checking with these two things, it will let you decide what is the right choice. And the second one is that keep checking yourself what state you are, right? So the higher self qualities are 5 qualities that are: you are always present, you are always centered, you are always positive, you are always peaceful, and you are always content. Present, centered, positive, peaceful, and content. If you are in that state, that means you are always you are connected to your higher self. If you are not, that try to find a method to bring yourself to the center. Either you do heart centering, you do breathing, or you do close your eyes and sit 1 minute, or you think about a good happy thing that happened, bring that emotion out, remember God qualities. You can do any of those things, but find your way to come back to the center. That is one thing. And then the third point is that when you are connected to your true self, right? So the third point is that the mind is not your enemy. Okay, mind is a tool that is needed for us, and we need it to become a handmaiden to our soul. So we have to practice so much that it becomes the part of our soul and it listens to our soul. That is the third point. And the fourth point is when you are completely connected to your higher self, you experience that bliss, you experience that true spiritual um, contentment, right? So remember to be in that state, to continue to work with your higher self, and don't waste your one more lifetime. That's all I wanted to summarize, friends. Thank you so much for joining today. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Patriji. Thank you, Michael Goddard, and thank you for the book, and thank you,
Thank you.
Pushpa. Thank you, PMC.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Monica. Yes, friends. Let's meet again next week.
Thank you so much, Harika. Wonderfully, narrated and explained with your example.
I
So
know.
everybody will have the such kind of examples for sure. Like we get that, and then we just ignore it. So and then you face the consequences. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody
Yeah.
have questions? Like anything you want to share? How you feel about this? Are you able to connect? Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Harika. Let's
Thank you,
meet next.
Pushpa. Yeah, let's meet.